Hi hearts, it's Michelle from The Healing Heart. So it's been a little while. How many times am I going to start my videos like that, saying it's been a little while? But it really has. And today is kind of a new start. Today is time to get real. And so if you are ready to sit down and have a chat, talk about getting real with me, then grab yourself a coffee. I'm Canadian. Here's my Tim Hortons. Grab yourself a coffee. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's get real. So my name is Michelle. I'm a psychic medium. Also go by the name The Healing Heart. I'm located in Canada, in Ontario. London, Ontario, where I am born and raised. I've been on a spiritual journey my whole life. Seeking the truth of who I am, asking the bigger questions. And in 2014, after numerous other events in my life, I was diagnosed with a advanced breast cancer, stage 3A. Breast cancer, a 7x7 tumor in my left breast that was spread to my lymph nodes. And within 2 weeks underwent some major chemotherapy, 12-hour surgery, a breast removal, a stomach and breast rebuild operation all done at once, as well as 26 rounds of radiation, followed by a few years of hormonal therapies, injections, and so on. I'm not here to talk about my cancer journey. I've done that before, and you can go through my videos and see many different points in my journey since I started recording it on YouTube. But I started documenting some of my experiences. I call myself the Magic Mama. I'm writing a book called The Chronicles of the Orb Lady, where I talk about my experiences, my spiritual experiences, my experiences with orbs, with spiritual energy, and what they have taught me with my spirit guides, and with spiritual phenomenon that we consider the paranormal, which I do believe from my point of view is actually normal. It's just not what we've been taught. So the reason why I'm doing this video today, why I'm saying it's time to get real, and this is not a scripted video, not that really any of my videos are, although I usually have some idea of what I'm going to say. Today, I really speak to you from the heart. I call myself the Healing Heart, and I've said it many times, because this journey has been about healing my own heart. And from the healing of my own heart and the connection with my own soul and higher self, I venture outwards, and it is my goal to then heal others from that very same place, to give empowerment to receive healing from your heart, and then to take that and spread that out to others as well. And while no two journeys are the same, my journey is very different than yours, although I do believe that many of us do have common threads between us. Many of us, and supposedly many of you that are watching this right now, are healers, or you know that you've got psychic ability. You hear spirit, you feel spirit, you speak to spirit, you work with spirit. And let me just be straight too, we all have psychic abilities. Every single one of us as human beings have psychic abilities. Some of us like playing a piano. Some of us can play the piano very well, and we're naturally talented. Others of us have the desire to play the piano, and we take lessons to increase our ability and our talent. And some of us, we have the ability to play the piano, but it's like we've got fingers that go all over the place, and we may not be real in tune. But we all have the ability in one way or another. And so the reason, again, why I'm saying that it's time to get real is I want to come from a place today to help empower you wherever you are at, and to let you know that the journey that we're all on, sometimes for those of us that put out videos, and for many of you that follow me here, you found me because of Channeling Erik. And when we do videos on Channeling Erik, there can be, you may not know us as personally because, we're doing our videos with Erik. It's a topic that we're discussing, and we're talking about metaphysical subjects. We're channeling messages from spirit. But as a community, we're not really getting to know each other as individuals, to really understand our story and to understand how we became involved with Erik. And so right now, I joined along with other mediums in starting a new venture with Channeling Erik. We call Channeling Erik 2.0. And so for those of you that do follow Channeling Erik, you know that Elisa has taken a beautiful new journey into scalar energy. And so you can check her out, and I'll put the link in the description below for Atlantis Scalar. And you can check out the services and what she offers there. I'm also a healer, and I'm an energy healer, and I do something called energy art healing. And it is something that it's an organic process for me. So it's not something that I was taught or a process that I follow. It's something that happens when I connect in with spirit and I receive messages and images, energetic lines. I see things connect energetically in somebody, and I just follow that organically. Like many of us have things that we necessarily can't explain how we do it, but it's a process that we discovered in getting to know ourselves better and being open and trusting. So I do that as well. And there has been quite a process since January in making changes with Channeling Erik. We've brought on some amazing people on our team. Our videos and our creating is getting exciting. We're trying new things. But the biggest thing is we really want to communicate and become more personable with everybody, because that's what this is all about. We're coming into oneness, and oneness is being authentic with ourselves, becoming one with ourselves, and becoming one with others. And so that is really the goal. And so today I want to share some of that, becoming one with myself, acceptance with myself, and to then share that with you, and to hopefully empower you to do that in whatever it is that you are working through right now or wanting to achieve. So as you can see, a lot of the times you've seen me sit in so many different places to do my videos, and I'm going to explain why. So this is my new location, and I've talked many times about how I was having a new space built, and that I was very excited to have this space built that was specifically for my healing work and for my mediumship work, a place that was relaxing, spacious, and where I could have the peace and quiet to meditate and do what I love to do. So the home that I have with my family, so there's 5 of us all together that live here, my 3 children and my husband and myself. My 3 children that are at home, 2 of them are teenagers, and my son, who is 8 years old, he has autism, and he is a firecracker, a ball of energy. And we don't have a very big house. We've got a very modest, it's like a bungalow style raised ranch. So it's got a main floor and a basement. And I am extremely grateful for this home. We have been through, my husband and I have lived here and bought the home over 20 years ago now. And a lot has happened in these walls. We've been through a lot in these walls, and I am extremely grateful. But for many of these years that we've been here, I was very sick, and my husband was very sick. And when you're sick, you don't necessarily do all the things that need to be done. And for a long time in my journey, especially during the time that I had cancer, the kind of help that I was able to ask for was help with my children. And so a lot of things fell by the wayside. And, you know, it was hard for me to talk about that. It was hard for me to talk about a lot of things. We went through a lot of financial difficulty. We had family help us. We never suffered. And I have to be honest with you that we always had what we needed. We always had food in the fridge, our bills paid. Without the help that we received, we may not have been able to keep our home. We know and have a lot of gratitude that there were a lot of things that we didn't have to worry about that I know a lot of people do. But yet there was still a lot of personal issues that came up. And a lot of it really came up after I had cancer. And something that I didn't realize on the outside before I experienced cancer was the amount of support that's offered to you during that journey while you're sick. From counseling, even the support and the well-meaning support of others that are there for you to help when you have surgeries and to help with your children and everything. But it was surprising to me that I didn't expect that I would come upon this point after I had cancer of hitting this wall of depression, hitting this point of knowing that I was so grateful to be alive and to be well and to be healing. But at the same time was dealing with this depression of guilt of things that I didn't take care of, or trying to keep a healthy marriage and relationship alive, the trauma and the PTSD that my children felt. You know, there was things that they experienced that they didn't even talk to me about. Like, for example, one of my children went through a lot of teasing at school, and there were other children that when I stopped wearing a wig and, you know, my hair was just starting to grow back in, and, you know, I wouldn't wear a wig at home, but I did when I went out. And I remember I was pretty bald. I had a little bit of peach fuzz, but I was done wearing the wigs. They were itchy. I was done. And so I'd go to the school to pick up my kids, and, you know, some of the students would tease one of my daughters and say, "Oh, did you see that orb just flew by there?" They would tease one of my daughters and just say, "Oh, your mom looks like Voldemort." Or they'd make fun of the way I looked, or ask my daughter weird questions, and made her really uncomfortable. But because she didn't want to hurt me, she was worried that I would be hurt, she kept it to herself. And so there's a lot of these little things that we experience through our journeys. And cancer is not the only one. There's many different things that we all go through. And there's like that heightened energy when we go through or experience some sort of trauma. And then we get this big release when things are starting to return back to normal. And in a way, and I can only speak from my perspective, in a way it feels like looking out to the outside world, everybody's getting back to normal. And that's what I expected of myself. I expected myself to get back to normal and to just pick up where I left off before I was diagnosed, without realizing that where I was before I got diagnosed wasn't healthy. And so really, after cancer, I needed to pick up to who I really was, and having that realization that I really wasn't living as the true me well before that was a tough realization. It didn't happen in one day. It was day after day of wondering, why am I here? What am I meant to do? What possibly am I going to do with myself? Understanding where my desires were, and when it came to spirit and when it came to wanting to help other people. I had gone into ideas of wanting to be a minister. I knew I wanted to help, but I still knew that I myself needed a lot of help. My family needed a lot of help. And, looking back at those times, I'm so grateful for every moment of it because I learned so much. But the one thing I really, looking back, that was the biggest thing was being able to ask for help. Being able to admit to myself that I wasn't okay. And I spent a lot of time and energy focusing on other things, other people, and not letting the people I love, even people really close to me, that I wasn't okay. And so how easy is that? You might be watching this right now and thinking to yourself that you're hiding something right now and even having trouble accepting it yourself, that maybe you're not okay and need help. And that's not the easiest thing to do, to ask for help. So my healing journey really was acceptance. It was a lot of acceptance in myself, a lot of acceptance that I had a lot of repair work to do. And I wasn't really sure how that was going to start or where that was going to come from, what it was going to look like. I just knew I could not go back to the person that I was before. Too much had changed. I couldn't go back to the person I was before. Being able to accept a new normal and being able to accept that I needed to take more responsibility in my life. Because something else that I had to come to terms with was that I was no longer willing to be a victim in my life. And that was hard because I did experience things. That's my cat's growling, just in case you hear here. Okay. Okay, you two. This is not the time for this. I thought Butter was going to come and make an appearance. I could show you. Oh, okay, she's not. Okay, where was I? I can't remember where I was, and I'm not going to edit this video, so I'll just pick up where I can. So, having to come to terms with acceptance, accepting where I was, accepting that I needed help, there were a lot of things that, a lot of things I didn't realize about myself. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. A victim, being a victim. I had every right to be a victim. And let me explain what I mean by that. I had things that were hard. I went through some hard stuff. But there comes a point where I had to be willing to let it go to get better. And this was a lot of mental work. So in the beginning of my healing, there was a lot of work that I had to do on choosing that I was going to let go of negativity. And so when I speak about being positive, I think the better way to explain it is I was not willing to entertain the negative. So I wasn't willing to put that panic into everything, and that, oh no, now this is happening, and now this is all going to happen because this is what happened to me before. I wasn't going to go down that road. I had to change that because I realized how much that played into my life. I didn't really know if other people saw it that way, because some people thought I was positive. And for the most part, I think I did a pretty good job at expressing it in that way. But knowing what I know now about energy and about our bodies and about our emotions, I know that what was really going on inside is what was manifesting in my life. And so the troubles and the experiences that I was having on the outside were very much directed to how I felt about myself and how I was viewing things from the inside. So there was a lot of work within me that had to take place first. And at the same time, and yes, we did get counseling. We did get help for our kids. Our kids still do. We all have had to ask for help at one point or another through healing from what we experienced as a family. And then individually to help us figure out where we were at, where we were heading. And of course, I've been very honest and open about many of the different things that we've experienced since my own cancer, my husband's cancer diagnosis. And I've talked about a lot of little things that have taken place that haven't been easy, but my father being sick, and just things that maybe don't express themselves to other people unless I speak about them, but have been tied to a lot of emotional healing from my past. And so my point is it's a regular work in progress. And it's a work in progress that I have worked very hard at over these last 6 years. And I have a lot of pride in that, because the results of the work that I continue to do, and there's really no point in our life, in my opinion, that I believe that we ever really get to a place where we're done. We're really done our healing. I think that we get to new levels as our consciousness expands, as our awareness of ourselves and the world around us expands and grows and deepens. We open up to new things within ourselves, and we perceive things new again and again. It's like being reborn over and over and over again. And I've come to really enjoy the healing process for myself. I've come to really enjoy the changes. I've come to enjoy embracing the opportunities. And really the results show in the peace that I feel. Because I can't really express with words the difference in how I feel today to the way that I felt at one point. And I can't really put into words everything that I'm trying to say today. But the point that I want to make about getting real is that this journey has been this process of knowing myself more and more, which has in turn developed a deeper relationship with Spirit. It's allowed me to go in deeper with other people in helping with healing and in channeling sessions. Because my true passion is to heal, is to help, is to empower, to take the gift that I was given and the gift of healing that we all have, to accept it, to help others accept that, and to help guide that process. You know, when I started and got to the point where I was ready to share, I had done so much internal work inside and worked with Spirit to the point where I was ready. And you guys will see, because there's a docu-series on ChannelingErik, that there's a different series that's coming out every Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And my series is going to be at the end, but there is some video clips of some of the journals and things that I do or have used in my teaching. And like, I'll just show you. Oh gosh, somebody in there I can't even see. I keep journals, okay? Just simple little books and journals. And you know, the process of healing is not linear. Our spiritual journey is not linear. Although our brains do work in that way, this process is not. And so the work that I've done with Spirit and the healing I've done has been recorded all in my books, my experiences, the learning. And that's just how I've always been. I've always been a writer. I've always put it down on paper. And that was how I was best able to express myself. And that in turn would allow me to be able to start channeling messages from Spirit to give me personal guidance and to help direct me in my own path, to help me understand myself. So I recommend for any of you that are doing your spiritual work, or, you know, why even call it spiritual work, life work, guidance, getting through life, whatever you want to call it, to use whatever medium works for you, whether it be writing or recording or drawing, which I also do too. But all of these different ways that we can express, and I'm very visual, so it's easier for me to see it laid out on paper. And because I have never been linear, I have never done things by step 1, 2, or 3, and anybody who knows me well knows that that's not how I do things. And to many people, I've always been told that I do things backwards, or I would always look very unorganized and messy to many people. But in my brain, that's not how it works. In my brain, it would just come out a certain way, and it made sense to me. So when I was ready to start helping people, I remember thinking, how was I going to do that? And having very limited funds, I wasn't sure how I was going to express that. And something that Spirit had said to me is, when you express from the heart, and when you truly are giving from the heart, from your own healing, from your own joy, from your own peace, and you put that out for others to share, that Spirit will help find a way for that to be found. That Spirit will help. And what we know about manifestation, about magnetizing similar vibrations, when you put something out there, it will come back. And it's always about the intent, the motivation behind what you're putting out there. So I started writing, and I started channeling messages, and I was posting them on my Instagram. And I did it little bits at a time. And then I opened up a group and I started posting there. And I just closed my eyes and hoped for the best. And slowly I began to roll out my heart's work myself. And that would lead from one thing to the next. I mean, we're talking this over 5 years of being pushed by spirit. And by spirit, I mean Erik, pushing me a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Keep putting yourself out there. Keep putting your truth out there. Keep putting the real stuff out there. What's the motivation of why you want to do this? And I'd always ask, what's the motivation of why I want to share this? Well, I want to share this because it's in my heart. I want to share this because this has made profound difference for me. And I hope that even if one person receives a message from this, it's going to be one person helped. And my goodness, there's 365 days in a year. And if one person a day I can help, that's 365 people. And that adds up. And so I would just keep doing that every day to the point where things would start to grow, opportunities would start to grow. And before I knew it, I was ready to be able to help more people. And I started out by doing that with one wall in the corner of my bedroom with a backdrop, a cell phone, and a book stand. And at the time, no website, no anything, just a Facebook group. And I did that for a long time. And then once I started to outgrow that and needed a little bit more space, I moved myself downstairs and into the laundry room. But it gave me more space and it gave me more privacy. And the one thing that Erik said to me is, it doesn't matter where you do this. It doesn't matter how it looks to you. What matters is what you're truly giving out from the heart. Everything else will fall into place. You know, my favorite thing that Erik would say to me is he'd give me the quote from Wayne's World. If you build it, they will come. And so that's been my motto. From the heart. If you build it, they will come. And so it's very exciting for me to be sitting in a new space that feels very comfortable. And I feel very proud. And I feel very peaceful. I'm very excited for all of these new stages of my journey and of all the people that I interact with, of your journey. There's so many great things happening for everybody. And through the great things, we all go through the bumps. All of our roads that we travel have bumps. All of our roads that we travel have potholes. We all get faced with forks in the road. Sometimes we make wrong turns. But we will always find our way out. And if we practice trust, if we practice faith, and if we're willing to hold our hand out and ask for help, if we're willing to put in dedication and discipline within ourselves, if we're willing to actually heal and do our part of letting go of what has kept us trapped and caged, retrain that mental talk, that mental work, because it really does come from there. We have to be willing to accept and willing to choose. And sometimes we choose over and over and over, several times in a day, several times in an hour. But when you truly have something in your heart, what you have in your heart will always come back to you. And so now that I've been talking for a really long time, and if you're still listening to me, thank you. But again, I don't do this or look at this and put this on here to say anything other than I'm documenting this for me, from my heart. And I'm documenting this to hope that if there's one person that hears this today and that hears that you can do anything that is in your heart, and if it's in your consciousness and you think about it and you want something and you dream about it and it's true for you, it will happen. You are worth the healing, and you are worth letting go of everything that has been projected onto you. You are not the situations. You are not the experiences that you've had. You are not what other people tell you you are. You are that truth, that dream, that beauty, that peace that's deep in your heart. Maybe you've not felt that. Or maybe it's been a long time since you felt that. But if you're watching this right now and you're hearing these words still, then know that what's possible for you is time. That it's here. And I keep saying, if I'm here and I'm doing this, and I know where I came from, and I know how my mind worked before. So if I'm here and I can do this, and I can pull myself out from under the covers and keep going, you can too. Well, with that, guys, it's been 37 minutes of me talking away. I love each and every one of you. Thanks for being here today. So I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Bye, hearts.